What's up, Libra? Thank you so much for joining me again. I love you guys. So we're just going to jump right into this. Now, Libra, this week from Le Vampire, you pulled nobility, honor, high standards, and idealistic. And I laugh because we just got done talking about this with Virgo. Both of you guys are like setting some higher standards for yourselves. Virgo's doing it in a little bit of a different way, but you guys are looking really good here with nobility. But then on top of that, you pulled soulmate from Chakra Wisdom, which is fucking amazing. Beautiful, beautiful cards. Nobility from Le Vampire is really talking about the connection that you're having with your higher self. You're being asked to do the right thing, even if it's not the easiest thing for you to do. But again, it's about you setting higher standards for yourself, for the people that are around you, for the things that you're doing. And then with soulmate, this is different than any other soulmate card. And I know you guys have heard me say this before with this one. This doesn't necessarily have to do with a soulmate. This is about the conversation that you are having with your own soul. This is talking about how you're speaking your truth now. You're facing your own true feelings and you're living this truth. And there's also new truths happening here too. So for a lot of you, it's just a situation here where you're setting some better standards for yourself. But those standards are coming from within, right? I mean, the third eye is opening here. And it's like you have a better understanding that you have control over the things that are coming into your life. And again, high standards, higher standards. All right, Libra, here we go. Here's the energy coming through. That's fucking great. It's great, especially with the Wheel of Fortune. The Ten of Cups is such a beautiful card. It's happiness, absolute happiness, domestic bliss, right? Emotionally, you look fantastic. This is like the happily ever after, right? But it's good. The signifier is good because that's where your focus needs to be. And then the past, woo! Marriage, maybe, for some of you. Very nice. The Four of Wands, though, I mean, aside from celebration, for me, it is stability, right? Seeing that stable foundation. The celebration for me comes when, you know, you've seen the start of something take shape and it's like you're taking a minute now to like celebrate how far you've come. You understand that there's still more work to do here, but this is a really good start, a really, really good start. And for a lot of you, family life looks great. Oh, wow. In the present, what is up with the tens? Looking at the Ten of Wands, you know, I kind of get the feeling that for a lot of you, you just have a lot of stuff going on. You may have a lot of stuff going on within the family. You guys may be working on new projects. Everything looks good. It's just maybe you're taking on a little bit too much. The Ten of Wands is one of those cards where it's like you need to just drop it. You need to drop the load and you need to go back to one, right? The tens are endings of cycles. But looking again at the Wheel of Fortune falling out and looking at the Ten of Cups, you're fine. You're looking at a new turn of events in your own happiness, emotional happiness, right? It's just that in the present moment, you know, here you've started it, but, you know, you may have taken on more than you can handle. And it's one of those situations here where you need to do what you can to lighten the load. You know, I usually say when I see this card, delegate, right? Ask other people to help. Maybe give them things that they can do to help lighten it for you. You know, and the reason why I say it is because being in my management position, I hear it all the time. Delegate. You need to delegate that shit out, right? And I don't know what that word means. So being overwhelmed is like continuous. So definitely, Libra, you know, lighten the load where you can. But again, it's, you know, for a lot of you, when you're looking at the tens, you know, when you're looking at the ending of cycles, it's like, you know, tying up those loose ends here before the new beginning starts. You know, and maybe that's just what you're going through right now before you start, you know, moving back into the one and the new experience. Oh, future conditions, the Knight of Cups. You know, It would have been different if he would have been the past coming through, and then there would have been, you know, the Ten of Wands there, because I would have been like, okay, well, whatever is coming through here, whether you're, you know, receiving an offering or receiving some messages, it's overwhelming, but I don't feel like that. I almost feel like this is the new experience that happens, because it's like looking at the Four of Wands, you started something here. You're moving forward and, you know, tying up some loose ends here. It just may be like really overwhelming in the present moment, but where you go to in future conditions. My only problem with the Knight of Cups has always been talk is cheap. You know, you need to see action, right? But when you're looking at the Ten of Cups, it's good. It's really good. Now, for some of you, this is just a situation where you are following your heart, right? The Knight of Cups is one of those cards where, you know, this person follows, you know, where their fancy leads them, you know, and it may lead them astray. But the other thing is you need to do what is going to make you happy, ultimately, right? But, you know, on the other hand, for some of you, this could be somebody coming through offering something really, really good, you know, and that may be the case, though, too, that for some of you, it may be one of those situations where it may be overwhelming. But I feel like, you know, once you get things kind of organized here and dealt with this Ten of Wands, it's like things start to lighten up. Your best path to follow, and there you are. There you are. Here's the thing. When you're looking at the Queen of Swords and you're looking at her in the positive, she's really sharp. This woman is smart. She's smart and she's clear, right? But this is also somebody who's been through some difficulties. And again, you and Virgo seem to be tied with this whole high standards and then, you know, the Queen of Swords showing up. But as your best path to follow is good. It's good. It's telling you to tap into that energy. First of all, when it comes to situations where when you're looking at the Knight of Cups, you know, this is basically saying, you know, you're not, right, you're not going to let somebody come through and like fill your head full of nonsense. You're like, no. You know, I know what happiness is to me and I know how to create my own happiness, right? But then on the other hand too, you know, if you have something coming through that's like really good, this is just saying that, you know, I get the message, don't let your past affect you in the future. Because I've always said with the Queen of Swords, right, this is a woman who's been through a lot of fucking shit. And it affects the way that she is in present and future conditions. She's either very open and very logical and reasonable, or she is brutal and will kick your ass, right? But I do think that this is telling you to tap into that energy where you need to be clear in what you are thinking about and what you are choosing to do. Especially if this is a situation where you feel like you're following your heart. It's saying that this is okay. It's just you need to, you know, be clear. Be clear on, you know, what that happiness is, right? In your environment, the Seven of Wands, and yeah, you know, again, there's that feeling. That to me with the Queen of Swords, absolutely. It's like one of those cards. I've always said with the Seven of Wands, I'm not taking any more shit. I'm not doing it anymore. Right? And I think for a lot of you, it's a situation here where you're starting to speak up. The Seven of Wands very much is about using your voice. The other thing too is, you know, this is like opposing viewpoints, right? And you're like, you've got the higher ground and you're like, hell no, hell no, hell no. Get out of my space, right? This is where I'm at, right? And you're clear on it. You're clear on it. And it may be a situation where, you know, you're getting overwhelmed with the work that you're doing here to move forward into, you know, a newer cycle, right? It may be a situation here where you're so caught up with all this stuff that other people may be saying, well, this, that, and the other thing. And you're like, fuck that. You know, I'm going to do what makes me happy. But I like seeing the Seven of Wands, you know, especially when you have things like the Ten of Wands. It's basically saying that you're not so blinded by all the things that are going on that you're going to let something come along and ruin what you're trying to work toward. Which ultimately has to do with your happiness. Oh, shit. Your hopes and your fears, the Moon. So, For some of you, this may be a situation where you may be like repressing some emotions, especially looking at the Seven of Wands underneath. For a lot of you, it may be a situation here where, you start speaking up about the way that you feel. The moon traditionally, you're looking at illusions and fear and anxiety and confusion, things like that, right? But I like the positive aspect of it, where, there's the part of the emotions, the things that are coming to the surface, right? But then the other thing too is, when you're looking at the Knight of Cups, again, what we see under the light of the moon is going to be very different from the light of the sun. You have to be careful here. I mean, I think that, if you have an opportunity coming through when you finish this cycle here, right, you just need to be careful about where this is leading you, right, because of the moon being there. But I think that you're in a good spot. I do. I think you're in a good spot. It's just one of those situations here with the moon where it's either you may be feeling like you're chasing an illusion, or it may be that, there are things that you're holding back emotionally that need to come out. I'm not really seeing it as a bad thing. Maybe just some things that have been hidden within you are now being made clear, especially when it comes to you emotionally and where, you place your focus at when it comes to your happiness. But again, clarity, there's clarity on that. There is no confusion when it comes to that. I just think that maybe, for some of you, especially when you're looking at nobility, it may be one of those situations where you feel like you're chasing something that may not be realistic. But I don't see that as the case, not with the Ten of Cups being your signifier. And then when you're looking at the moon too, and you're looking at the subconscious, and you're looking at soulmate, for a lot of you, when you're talking about the intuition and, dreams and your psychic abilities, you're really tapping in deep. And for a lot of you, it could be a situation where the third eye is opening and there is this higher understanding happening. When it comes to what you need to do to drop the load, to go after your own happiness. But there's still that clarity. I love seeing the Queen of Swords show up for you guys. Oh, and then the outcome, the Five of Pentacles. So here's the thing. And that may be the issue, right? When you're looking at the moon, you're looking at the Seven of Wands, and you're looking at the Ten of Wands, and then the Knight of Cups. It may be a situation here where for some of you, there may be a fear of like having some difficulties, right? Now, on the other hand, if you're dealing with situations where, you have somebody coming through that's trying to offer you something, you may feel like, there may be like a fear. I mean, because I see these two as tied, because when you look at the Five of Pentacles, first of all, let me slow down here. It is more of a fear than it is something that will actually happen, right? The Five of Pentacles is financial strains, financial loss, feelings of being rejected or turned away, things like that, right? But the thing is with it being your outcome, that is not permanent. Nothing is ever set in stone, right? Now, I'm going to pull a clarifier on this, but I think with the moon sitting underneath that, for a lot of you, it may be a situation where, like, if you have something completely different coming through than what's happening here, it may be one of those situations where you're like, is it real? Is it not real? And then you get to the point where you're feeling like the Five of Pentacles, you're like, And I'm looking at the ending of cycles happening, but really good things happening out of that, with the Ten of Cups being the signifier and then looking at the Wheel of Fortune. But here's the thing. If you have to deal with some financial strain getting to that point, right, things are going to be balanced out. The Knight of Pentacles is saying that for a lot of you, this is going to be a situation that may be a little bit slow moving, because again, the Knight of Pentacles, it's one of those cards where when I see it, I'm like, oh, it's moving so fucking slow. Let's get this ball rolling, right? But the thing is it's going to be through the hard work and the effort that you put through to get you to the spot where, emotionally you're good, but then also financially you're doing better. And justice is fucking perfect to see. It's perfect. fairness and balance, wrongs being amended. So even if things are going to cost you a little bit, in the long run, things are going to be better and things will be evened out, nicely evened out. But either way, Libra, looking at this, I really do think that for a lot of you, it may be a question of, look, I'm, following my heart and doing what I want to do. You know what? I'm going to pull this fucking card because it keeps going. I'm trying to talk about this and I'm putting the deck to the side after pulling that clarifier. And normally, when I'm doing readings for people and they want clarifiers, I'll pull 3. And it's funny because you got the Knight of Pentacles, but then you have the Chariot. Now, here's the thing with the Chariot. If you're dealing with a situation where you are following your heart, but you're questioning on whether or not, is it real? Is it not real? The Chariot is saying basically that internally you're going to get control of that. And there's going to be like some more fast-paced movement here, right? And there is a sense of victory. And then looking at that with justice is great. It's perfect. You have to do what is going to make you happy. If you've put in a lot of work, you're going to get to a point where you may have some financial struggles starting out, but eventually it's going to lead you into a really good spot where you can start picking up momentum, right? Because I really do feel like a lot of you guys are like tying up some loose ends here. It's like you go from the 4 to, okay, we need to finish this up now because there's a new cycle happening. But with the 10 of Cups being there, again, you're good. You're good. You're doing fantastic. It's just you have some minor things here and there. The Moon is not so minor. It worries me a little bit. And I looking at the outcome and looking at the clarifiers, I can understand when it comes to, because first of all, when you're looking at Libra, you're looking at, this is a sign that very much weighs out the situation before making clear decisions, right? I mean, there you are, right? It's just that I think when it comes to situations where you start doing things that, are about like emotional happiness is where, the question starts to come in, right? But I think you're good. All right, we're going to take a look at the soul trees to see what else is going on for you guys. I'm glad to see that, justice is there. With being your card, that's great, but I'm looking at it tied to that 5 of Pentacles, and I'm seeing these situations being nicely balanced out, which is good. So resilience. Resilience is a beautiful card. It's saying that you can bounce back from anything, which is great. And strength. You have strength. You have the strength to do this. Looking at the solar plexus, the 3rd chakra, I'm not seeing any blockages here. I think that a lot of energy is going to be concentrated there for you guys where, the 3rd chakra has to do with your sense of self, your ego, your identity, right? Now, I don't see anything here that you need to be shameful about or need to like feel shame for. That is the only thing that's going to block that chakra. But I think it's going like, and you showing up twice, right? And I'm looking at it going, yeah, Libra, right? They know who they are. They know what they want. They're going. But I do like seeing resilience and strength. That's perfect energy. So true love, this is a romance of a lifetime and then past life relationship. You have known each other before. Nice. That is nice. That is a beautiful energy to see for those of you who are in a relationship and you're happy, right? The 10 of Cups, happiness within relationships. It's good. It's all the way good. I feel like, looking at soulmate and past life, again, there's a soulmate feeling there, right? Everything is going great for you guys in terms of relationships. I just think that there are some things that you were working on that you're wrapping up now, and you're looking at, following, new emotional experiences that ultimately is going to lead you to happiness. It's just you need to be clear. You need to have clarity. But the outcome to me does not look bad. It's just one of those situations where I think for a short amount of time. I don't think, with the Chariot and the Knight of Pentacles, it may seem like forever to you, but with the Chariot coming out, things may start to pick up really quickly. And then again, seeing you with Justice, things will be balanced out. You might have to spend a little bit of money to get where you're wanting to go, but ultimately you're looking at a perfect outcome, even with that Five of Pentacles being there, because things are going to work out in your favor. Okay, Libra. So what I'm seeing here is a situation where you've been working towards something, but now it's time to finish this step up. And it can get to be where it's like a little overwhelming, you know, especially if you're dealing with details and things like that to try to finish things off. I'm not seeing it as overly oppressive. It's just that there may be a lot of things that you're going to have to do here before you can start following your heart, because I really do think that a lot of you are looking at doing something new here that has to do with your own happiness. But I do think that you may have somebody or people or whatever in your environment that may be opposing your position. But basically with the Seven of Wands, you're like, fuck that, I'm going to do what I want. But that opposition may be making you question on whether or not, you know, is this real? Is it not real? Am I just chasing illusions? Right? You have to be careful about getting, you know, into that pattern of thought. The other thing too is if you are suppressing yourself emotionally, things are going to start getting better, right? Because these things are going to come to the surface. Now, the other thing though, when you're looking at the moon and you're looking at soulmates, psychic abilities, intuition, the third eye opening, and understanding that your happiness is more important than anything else. It's perfect. It's perfect. Now, as far as the outcome goes, and then, you know, again, looking at Justice with the clarifier for the outcome, looking at the Queen of Swords and looking at the third chakra, you know, your ego, your sense of self is right on, like right on, which is great. I don't think any of you have any blockages going on there. You know who you are, you know what you want. I just think that Spirit is trying to tell you here that, you know, with the Queen of Swords being your best path to follow, that you need to be clear. You need to use that mental clarity and be who you are when it comes to going after the things that make you happy. Now, here's the thing with the outcome. With the Five of Pentacles, I get the feeling that, you know, for some of you, you may face some financial struggles, but when you're looking at all of this, things are going to lighten up. The Page of Pentacles is fantastic when it comes to messages financially, and maybe a situation where you may have to wait a little bit, but I feel like, you know, for some of you, it's going to be different. Your financial situation is going to change. When you're looking at the Chariot, for some of you, this could be moving, and it could be moving long distance, and it may cause a little bit of a financial strain. You may have to wait a little bit, but there's going to be something else coming through. And then Justice, again, you being there, you're good, you're okay. And then not only that, but whatever difficulties you're going to face are going to be nicely balanced out. For some of you, it may be a situation where you feel like things are moving slowly. But with the Chariot, things start to pick up quick. I love that you are setting some higher standards for yourself. And I think the higher standard here is understanding that you need to do what makes you happy. Right? And just like I told Virgo, we're only in the meat suit for so long. If you're not out there experiencing things, then you're just staying stuck in the same way of being. But when you look at soulmate and what you've got going on here, I do think that for a lot of you, there's going to be a huge change in focus when it comes to you and what you want. And with strength, you have the strength to go through this. And not only that, but with resilience, you can bounce back from anything. And I think the universe is just trying to remind you here that whatever difficulties you face, they are not going to be permanent. You're going to be able to bounce back from this. Now, when you're looking at relationship, right? Soulmate, soulmate, soulmate. It's everywhere. Soulmate. It's perfect. It's beautiful energy. For those of you who are in a relationship, true love and past life relationship has a soulmate feeling to it. And then the singles, you're starting to call in your soulmate. It's beautiful energy. So overall, Libra, finish off the things you need to finish. because the wheel is turning in your favor for sure here. You need to start following the things that are going to make you happy, even if that means doing some traveling, because ultimately the Ten of Cups being there is happiness. Happiness for you and what you choose to do for you. Don't let anybody block you. Screw that. You do what makes you happy. And, you know, whatever struggles you face, know that it's not going to be permanent. You're going to be able to overcome all of that.